Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of the Magic Show. Now this week we're on StarStateGames.com Premium, which I know is a little weird, but you guys want the show. And the only way I can make it happen is by putting it on here, because this is all done on my own time, okay? So, spoiler time. It's our Christmas 4 times a year, and oh man have we been good boys and girls. There are all sorts of awesome presents coming our way, and let's start with white. First up is Angel of Jubilation, previewed by none other than this site. And you know, it's hard out here for a token deck, despite completely dominating block to the point where Lingering Souls and Intangible Virtue are already banned, and people are now running 8 Crusades in Standard to great effect. And of course, we have to give them another Crusade, this one attached to a sweet and efficient body, obviously. I know R&D wanted tokens to be a thing, but keep in mind, Midnight Haunting was considered not good enough internally, and Lingering Souls was pushed from a flashback of black to a black and a colorless. Now bottom line, these tweaks matter. Expect the token deck to be playing 4 of this girl with a quickness. So, about that Avacyn, boom! Now that is a huge monster. Now I know, she's just envy mana that does cool stuff, but you know what? I love that! I love me an angel that's making your stuff indestructible and kicking all sorts of ass in Kali of the vast DBH decks. If you're battling at the kitchen table, then this is the girl for you. Next up is probably my favorite spoiler this side of the loot house in Restoration Angel. I mean, seriously? This card is nuts. It does everything you want it to. It gives you a ton of interactions, and with Flash you get the ability to play around almost anything, and with so many amazing end of the battlefield triggers these days, she's sure to have a juicy target. But how about sacrificing a Blade Splicer to Birthing Pod, grabbing a Restoration Angel, and resetting Strangleroot Geist? I mean, this girl is going straight into my cube, and I think we'll see her in Constructed sooner than later. But if you're looking for a sweet white aggro deck, I'm sure you're just as excited as I am about Silverblade Paladin. Now this guy makes for some ridiculous plays, whether it's providing double strike early on a 1 or 2 drop, or drawing this late and giving your 4 drop or higher double strike. Something as innocuous as Porcelain Legionnaire on turn 2 followed by a Silverblade Paladin is no joke. And as we found with Talia, Garden of Thraben, which is another awesome 2 drop to play before Silverblade Paladin by the way, first strike in a world of tokens can do a world of good. Up next is Tamiyo, the Moon Sage. Now first let me say, this Planeswalker is fantastic, just amazing. I love everything about her, but let's discuss the first reason for loving her. She is from Kamigawa. Kamigawa's not dead. One of the worst sets ever designed did not kill that awesome plane, and I don't know about anybody else, but until the disaster that was that set, that block was freaking sweet. It really only takes one word: ninjas. Yeah, super ninjas. Think about it. Betrayers had a whopping 8 ninjas in it, yet it defined the whole set. The fact that Sabers didn't even have a single ninja, I mean, talk about a crime. But flavor aside, how good is this Planeswalker? Now let's get this right out of the way. She isn't Jace. Nowhere close. I'd compare her closely to Gideon. Imagine the old Day of Judgment Tamiyo play. They followed up with a Hero of Bladehold while your shields were down, but Tamiyo answers it perfectly. You then play in Flashback Lingering Souls, bash in, and draw 4 cards. Now by the way, this doesn't even drain Tamiyo's loyalty. She's still there, ready and willing to draw you more cards later. It's a beautiful mesh of a Johnny Vengeance first ability and Garruk Primal Hunter's powerful card drawing ability. Then, of course, there's the ultimate. But do we really have to explain ultimates? I mean, cute and interesting ways to win the game and go over the top, blah, 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 bombs exploding, blah, blah, blah. That's all I need. Temporal Mastery is, well, you know, I'm not going to say that. All right, just a little bit. Now, it has an incredibly high chance of being banned in Legacy, and while there's some serious magical Christmas playing plays in Standard, you know, the turn 1 Delver, turn 2 Delver, and Ponder setting up the Time Walk, that doesn't mean it's the most powerful strategy. Getting 1 or more of these in your opening hand is basically a mulligan, and as long as there are no blue or white spells that put cards from your hand on top of your library in Standard, I think we're in good shape, at least as far as Standard is concerned. However, a card I'm actually really excited about is Demonic Taskmaster. Now, is it just me, or does this thing seem incredibly efficient? Yes, it can limit the number of other creatures you can run, but I'm sorry, did somebody say Gravecaller? I knew you could. I think this card is way better than people are giving it credit for. Speaking of cards that go well with zombies, you see that Demon Lord of Ashmouth, right? Those Gravecrawlers are going to be doing some work, son, in a few weeks. I think Black Aggro got a huge boost from these cards alone. Even Black-White token-based strategies will happily trade a Lingering Souls token to keep around the Taskmaster or to pay the cost of Cat Mashy here. And Gristlebreed, for real? I mean, Fright's just got its additional monster to fetch. I mean, if you weren't afraid of Elish Norn enough, Gristlebreed is here to eat your lunch. You will be hard-pressed to lose when you can draw 7 on demand. Now, actually better than Ginge attacks is, and I thought that bar was super high. Turns out, not so much. Thunderous Wrath is next. Now, that's some big boy lava XP you got on there, buddy. So, in a scale from 1 to nuts, how completely ridiculous is this card in Legacy Rug Delver? Now, I know, Brainstorm works well with Miracle Herpaderp, but it's not just that. If this is not in your opening hand, it's basically bonkers good. Am I wrong here? Sure, you're forced to play it instantly, and you can't snap your cards forever while thinking about it, and cracking your fetch, and snapping your cards, and asking how many cards they got, and snapping your cards, and how much life total they're at, snapping your cards, and finally bolting something. Instead, you look, you axe the face or the guy. Now, 25% of a life total is no joke, people. This card is seriously scary. Put that Vexing Devil, you know? Man, Vexing Devil, you're the vexingest. You take the beloved Punisher mechanic and you show it no mercy, and you give your opponents a hell of a choice. You're asking them, you say, would you like to give me a 1-mana super lava spike, or would you like to chump block this with your Lingering Souls tokens? I mean, the choice is yours. Choose wisely. This is one of those cards that are just perfect in terms of teaching players EV. What are you expecting to get out of this card? 4 damage, a 4/3, a threat, an answer? In this token-heavy environment, how good is something that can be chumped over and over again, or even killed, thanks to the vast array of Crusade effects and standard for them? Goblin Guide was way too good for a red 1-drop, and it's hard to really compare the two. And when you consider the average amount of damage that Goblin Guide did, which is normally 6+, is 4 damage worth it? How does this stack up versus Stromkirk Noble? Is a one-time nug worth a long-term build-up? I love the questions this card provides to competitive players. Wait, what? You hear that? Oh my god, no. I thought they couldn't do it any better. Oh my god! In classic big dumb idiot fashion, in the time-honored tradition of smashing your ever-loving face, holy cow, Crater of Behemoth makes my dreams come true. This guy does absolutely incredibly unfair things. I mean, he's probably as close to the I win if I control just a few or more creatures as you can probably get. If you resolve it, you're winning. You just can't beat this sweet 8-drop. Sure, the white one makes your permanents indestructible, whatever. I just want to put a crater in your face with the hoof of Mr. Behemoth here. It's a shame this probably won't make constructed, as the closest comparison is Terastodon, a card used for its ability to answer annoying non-creature permanents such as Oblivion Ring and artifacts instead of bashing your face in. Next up is my current pick for best casual card in the set. Descendant's Path is no joke in any tribal deck, whether it's elves, zombies, goblins, or whatever. Now, this is a green card, but since when has that stopped anybody? It's funny how close this card is to Call to the Wall of Text. I mean Call to the Kindred, as that card was just printed, and while it looks at more cards, it only puts them in your hand. This one goes even further than just putting it into play. It casts the card you reveal. So for you Johnnies out there, here's your challenge. I wish you luck in getting Descendant's Path, a Changeling, and revealing Emrakul on the top of your library. Good luck. If Return to Ravnica were instead a tribal block, this card could have potential. Now, as such, I'd hoard foils of this and cash them out at a later date. This one will be a slow burn. Now, winding down, we have the Green Miracle spell, aka Miracle Grow. This feels like the perfect miracle mechanic card that will never impact Constructed, not even Legacy, but will be a huge blowout in Limited. I look forward to ripping this and windmill slamming it off the top of my deck appropriately. Lastly, we have our multicolored angels. Angels, activate! We have Bruna, Wall of Text, Gilda, Who Wishes You Good Night, and Sigarda, Nice Geth's Verdict. Now, between these three, it's obvious which were commander-oriented and which were not. One of them looks like the best 5-drop angel this side of Baneslayer, and the rest I already stopped reading. But that Sigarda, what a sick hoser. Liliana the Veil, sit down. Geth's Verdict, oh, that's cute. Tribute to Hunger, oh, people still play that card outside of Limited? That's nice, that's cute. Take 5, please, and oh, you can't target her either. While I've never had any really huge issue with hexproof, I think we're going to find that master removal is going to have to get a hell of a lot better, or these hexproof creatures are going to have to get a hell of a lot less powerful. When the card hoses the very removal designed to answer it, I'm a little worried. No banhammers necessary, but annoyance levels may rise as a result. You have been warned. So that's our first pass at Avacyn Restored spoilers. I do appreciate you watching and hope that you dug it as much as I did making it. It's a little weird, I know, being on premium and all, but I wanted to bring back the show in its original form, and here we are. I'm ready to discuss a full spoiler, and I'm ready for another week of Magic Show goodness, ain't you? We'll discuss all the goodies next week as the remainder of the set is unleashed. Until next time, Magic players, this is Evan Irwin, tapping the cards so you don't have to.
I always like the fatties.